Well, we're back on the shaper. It's 11:30 the next morning. Degreased as much as I can with oven cleaner. Just waiting for some decent degreasant to come in to get the rest off, then I can paint strip it. I've took off the, I guess you'd call it the idler gear that runs between the ball gear. You can just see where the hole is. It sits in there. It transfers between the gearbox and the ball gear, because I suspected there'd be a bit of wear. So that's the stub shaft that it sits on. Just turn it round. It sits, bugger. It sits like that. Two bronze bushes. I don't know whether you can see the wear on it. It's definitely not been running through. It looks as if the oil lines to this end, the inside end, have been blocked. Quite a bit of scoring and picking up. You see the scoring on the shaft. So what I'll probably do is clean up the shaft and make a new bushing, machine it in situ on the lathe, and make the bushing fit the shaft. Otherwise it means making a whole new shaft, which is, you know, not a small amount of work, and I can't cut imperial threads on my metric lathe without a lot of messing about. If any of you have got any better ideas, feel free to pass them on. I'm no engineer. Could send it over to Adam Booth and get him to metal spray it up and bring it back to size, and while I'm at it, fit me a bush. How you fixed, Adam? Once you clean the grease off and the crap off, go at the end of that, and then same on the other side. So it's been off and turned. That's the good bit. It's a sloppy fit on the shaft and a very sloppy fit on the keyway. So the inside of the gear isn't brilliant, but you can see where the pressure's been loaded on these teeth, because the bearing's been worn. It's got a right gorilla at it. I mean, you can see how easy it just slipped on and off. So yeah, well, I think I might be cleaning up the inside bore of the gear if we can. We'll certainly clean up the outside, and then might make the shaft, remake the shaft. But I've still got to do something with the bearings. And the one thing I don't know how to do is cut the grease lines like that. No idea how you do that. Or maybe you buy them. God forbid. Spend money. Now I've got to assume if the front's worn, then the back's going to be worn to a degree. Otherwise it would require the shaft to flex. That was heavy, lifting that out. There's a deadlift straight up. Don't know what it's called, it's the crank arm, or yeah. Anyway, that's out. I'd like to take the ball gear out, but can't see how you do it. This bit looks like a limit stop. That's had some damage, but I can't get the stroke adjuster to move at all. So I'm thinking I'll have to undo. Excuse the spin. There you go. I'm going to have to undo those two lock nuts and then try and wind that threaded rod out, and then remove the retainer plates and see if I can remove the whole lot this way. I can't feel any play in the bearing. There's end float, but I can't feel any movements up, down, left, right. But as I understand it, you should be able to turn that, and that turn the adjuster for the length of stroke, and it's, let's just say it isn't doing it. So I'm going to take it all apart and see what I can find out. Well, we've undone the two locking nuts. Obviously didn't think that one through because it doesn't actually do anything. There's just below them, you've got the cast boss, which is on the ball gear, and then behind that is a bevel, angled bevel gear, I think they call it, you know, bevel gear. And I'm assuming, probably wrongly, but I'm assuming that that shaft actually goes all the way through and picks up, well, it's the same shaft as that. So as the bevel gear that comes through on the end of that shaft rotates, it rotates this, so it shifts it up and down. So even having undone those two nuts there, only thing I can think of was it would enable me to knock the shaft through. But if the shaft's threaded into that, that would have to shift as well, and I don't know what's stopping it. I'm assuming it's just the nut on the other side of this, which is wrapped around that shaft. When I got the nuts off, there's a keyway in that, and I can't see. It's not a loose key. Well, it doesn't appear to be a loose key. So I'm a little bit. I need to scratch my head or see a parts drawing. Sorry for the rotation. I don't know whether you can see, but all of these countersunk screws have at some stage been set and then pock marked, and some of them the pock marks don't match up, which would suggest that it's been out. So I think whatever's caused this thing to seize on height adjust, stroke adjust, either hasn't been resolved or has gone again, in which case it's all got to come out to find out what the hell it is, which is annoying because I can't get it out. Answers on a postcard or in the comments below. Now, more WD-40 as I'm waiting for my PB blaster or whatever it's called. I don't know whether you can see that, but it's got what looks like either a knurl or tool marks on it, but it seems a bit regular for tool marks, so I'm thinking it was a knurl. But I'm assuming that should be separate to that, perhaps keyed in or something, I don't know. That transfers the drive onto another one, which transfers it for the index into the head of the table. But if the machine was, which it was, fitted with an inch button, that would suggest that that should only turn that little bevel gear inside, which adjusts the stroke length. Therefore, if you wanted to index the ball gear over, you'd use the inch button, which is formerly there, which means that whatever bearing that runs through to that bevel gear is where it's seized, which basically means it's got to come off to unseize it, clean it up and find out what the problem is. I'm going to go on away and see if I can find an exploded diagram of it somewhere on the internet. Maybe we'll get a bit better understanding. So according to internet, that is the locking nut for the stroke adjuster. It says it's a knurled nut. I don't think it's been knurled for a while, but I've had a good close look and it's definitely had something like Stilson's over it. And it's solid. So, as recommended by one of our viewers, I've picked up a can of this, and we'll give it a squirt every couple of hours. See what happens. And somehow I've got to grip that and then rotate that to unlock it. Cat's not impressed. Very smelly, she thinks.